Hi YouTube, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can find us on the web, caltoncutlery.com. So today I want to tell you all about this particular bullet right here. Um, I do an awful lot of hunting, and this is at the end of hunting season. And this, well, not this particular bullet, this is a new one. But these right here are Sierra Pro Hunter 308 caliber. Let me is focused in there. Yep, Sierra 30 caliber, 125 grain Pro Hunters. There is your part number 2120. You can get these at Midway, Cabela's, Walmart, pretty much anybody that sells reloading components. The special thing about this particular bullet is just a plain old cup and core bullet. There's not that I know of, any bonding or any partitions or anything like that in there. Just lead and a copper alloy. This particular bullet, I've been shooting now for, well, the year before my daughter started big game hunting. She's 21 now, and she took her first deer and her first antelope when she was 12, and I worked up a load for this particular bullet in that 308 the year before, so when she was 11, so 10 years ago. I use these bullets for youth loads. I load them up with Blue Dot. I'm not going to give you reloading advice. So if you want to just type, go to your web search and type in Blue Dot load, BLUEDOT load, or loads, whatever. Blue Dot is typically a shotgun and Magnum pistol reloading powder, but it actually works really good in reduced velocity loads for rifles. I've used it in 223, 22 250, 6.5 Swede, 308 Winchester, 30-06 7 mag, 7x57 Mauser, and there's probably another couple of them. But what it does is it gives you about 2/3 of the velocity of what your normal full power load would be. And you couple that with a light for caliber bullet, in this case 125 grain bullet in a 30 caliber. So 308s, 30-06s generally run 100 grain bullets up to 200 grain bullets. So you pick a nice light for caliber bullet like this 125, and you drive it at this 125 is generally thought of as like a varmint bullet for going out shooting prairie dogs, blowing up coyotes, things like that. You slow this bullet down and it starts acting like a hunting bullet, and it really does a good job. My load for this 308, I've shot it in 3 different 308s. My boy is now shooting a 308 Winchester with this particular load in it. It's driving this 125 grain bullet about 2,450 feet per second. And what's amazing is what this bullet does at that velocity. Now, I wish that I could show you, a couple of these recovered from game animals so that you could see, so that we could weigh them, see what bullet retention or weight retention was. Measure the frontal diameter on it, see if the jacket and the core separated, all that kind of stuff. But I can't, because I've never caught one. My boy has now shot 2 antelope and 2 deer with that load. My daughter shot 3 or 4 deer. I want to say it was 4 deer and 3 antelope with this particular load. And I remember shooting at least 1 mule deer with this load. And we've never caught a bullet yet. Every single bullet has completely exited. Now, granted, this in my mind is mostly a youth load. So youths, generally speaking, don't have a whole lot of experience. So when they get into, hunting, they're not as calm as what they ought to be. So sometimes bullet placement can be a little bit off. Like this year, my boy shot his antelope, and I even brought a moose here to kind of help us out with this. Also, with this camera, this time I'm playing with no external microphone either. So we'll have to see how the camera's mic does. So anyway, so here's our moose. And we need a pointer. Okay, so when he shot his antelope this year, it was a pretty nice buck antelope, bigger than mine this year. It was at about 225 yards. He had a pretty stiff cross breeze left to right. I want to say probably 25-30 miles an hour. And he ended up shooting the antelope right through the humeruses here, the arm bones. So not up into the scapula, but right down here. So went through this leg bone, through the heart, caught a little bit of one lung, the frontal lobe part of it, and then hit the arm bone on the way out and exited. So a load that generates hardly any recoil at all. I mean, both kids with their different 308s, they can go out and shoot 50 rounds of this and it doesn't hurt their shoulders. But yet it's very, very effective on game animals. Like I said, we've never caught a bullet. The bullets have never done anything out of the ordinary. You know, the wound channels have always been nice and straight. The damage has been a good amount of damage to cause a humane death to the animal, but not excessive. So, you know, even on this shot right here where he went through both shoulders, you know, we were still able to save some meat up around the scapulas and you know, up to within about 6 inches or so of the bullet path. And that's been my experience with this bullet. At this velocity, 2,400 feet per second or so, starting velocity. Now, granted, out there at 200 yards, it's probably only doing maybe 2,000, something like that. But it opens up good, it drives deep, and we've never caught one, so it's always exited. His deer this year, that was a nice buck also. This was his first year of shooting any kind of buck at all, and he got 2 nice ones. So his deer this year was about 115 yards, and he shot that deer. I don't know why he hit it a little bit high. There was no wind, calm animal. It was standing there. I thought he was pretty calm. But anyway, he caught it a little bit high. It went through the very top of the scapula and then clipped the spine. No, it actually went through the spine. Out the other side and exited. Deer dropped, never knew what happened. It wasn't worked up. It was a really good kill. Again, that bullet went in, did enough damage to cause a humane death, exited, and didn't tear up meat, but did what it was supposed to do. I've also, so this review is all about this little Sierra 125. But I've also had good luck with the ballistic tips in 6.5 Swede. I want to say they're 120 grainers with the blue dot load, going about 2,400 feet per second. That's what he shot his first deer and antelope with. But anyway, so if you're looking for loading for a youngster, or maybe not even a youngster, maybe somebody who has a shoulder injury, or you know, just flat out doesn't like recoil. You know, take a look at using some of these, you know, lighter for caliber, you know, Sierra, soft points, spears, ballistic tips, any of those. Running them around 23 to 2,500 feet per second, somewhere around there. And I think you'll like what you find. Like I said, we've done an awful lot of animals with this bullet, and in fact, when I took my boy elk hunting this year, that load is what he was carrying in his rifle. We just didn't have enough time to really practice this summer and get him into a full power load. But based on what I've seen this bullet do, over the mule deer and elk that we've gotten with it. You know, I wouldn't go crazy with it, but you know, a nice meat cow at 200 yards or less, calm, of course, with the animal calm plus my boy being calm, with a steady rest, good wind conditions, all that kind of stuff. I really have no doubt that that bullet would do what it's supposed to do, as long as you put it in the right spot. So anyway, so if you're tired of recoil, or you got a shoulder injury, or you're loading for a youngster, or a person of smaller stature, or somebody that just doesn't like getting their shoulder beat up, try some of these lighter loads. Do some internet research on Blue Dot loads, or the Spear manuals have got some reduced loads in there using, I can't remember at the moment, but 2 different faster type powders. And give them a shot. I mean, if you're not shooting, very great distances, if you're keeping everything 200 yards or less, so far they've worked really good for us. They're also, I believe Remington offers something similar to this. They call it their reduced recoil load, in several different calibers, but it's the same idea, taking a light for caliber, conventional bullet, driving it to lower velocities, and it just works really good. But that ammo is kind of pricey. But I think Remington and Federal makes it if you're not a hand loader. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time.